Junkyard. Hello and welcome to my RC Junkyard. As you can see, I have junk all behind me because that's what I do. In this video, I'm going to go over Punk's Stagedive Chassis that's supposed to be a direct swap for the Capra. And I just want to say, first off, I didn't get anything for free. Bought it all with my hard-earned cash like you all do. And dealing with them was phenomenal. I had a very minor issue occur. I reached out to them. They were fast. They were polite. They offered to go above and beyond to take care of my needs. So I would say who the individual was over there, but I didn't get their permission. I didn't ask them to use their name in the video, so I won't. But if you're watching, thank you very much. It was a pretty smooth process. I'm really happy with the end result. And I am going to show the final finished wheels, body, paint, all that kind of stuff in another video, so be on the lookout for that. So, with no further ado, stay tuned and learn how to swap this thing over. Well, I'm being ambitious, and actually got a little ahead of myself, and I'm like, I gotta record a video for these guys. This is going to be the Capra Punk's Stagedive build. Really looking forward to this one. Not going to be using these wheels and tires. I will be reusing the servo. Not going to be using the shocks. I don't know about the ESC and motor yet. To be determined. Going to keep the dig and everything intact. But from what I understand, this is pretty much just a direct swap to their skid plate and rails. So let me open my drawer here. I do have some other things that I may consider. Actually, the snub nose revolver would be a good fit. I have a Fusion Pro coming. I've never used one. I also have a Mini V2 coming, which pairs up nicely with this snub nose revolver. Actually, I have that in another setup, but the Castle setup that's in here now isn't bad. I've only actually ran it to test it. This Capra has been sitting, as you can see. I haven't even put the body panels or anything on it because I wanted to get it. I bought it when the kits were on sale, and I wanted to swap it over to the Stagedive chassis. I also want to cut this cage down and make it a LCG Capra body. We're going to see how that plays out. I have no idea how to do that. So the first thing you need to do in trying to tackle this project is just start taking everything apart. I don't know if there are directions for this. I don't think there are, but for putting it back together, that is. So you're gonna wanna tear it all down, and then I'm pretty close, as you can see. That'll be coming off. I'll pull the links off, swap that over. Then we're gonna start on the skid plate and links and transmission mounting, and just kind of see how it goes from there. I think you have to get the transmission and everything set up and the links set up on the skid plate before you put the chassis rails on, but we'll go over that. So my next step will be to tear this all the way down, and I'll be back. As you can see, I just need to pull the links off and pull the transmission off, and we are good to go. And before I got that far, I wanted to actually show you what comes in the kit. So get some cool stickers, obviously. 2 frame rails, skid plate, and the skid plate is based on the transmission you'll be using. I'm going to reuse the stock Capra transmission, so I ordered the skid plate for that. They have quite a few different ones. I saw a deluxe portal trans skid plate on there, and a few others. I also ordered a cross the body battery tray. Not even sure how I'm going to use that or if I'm going to use that. I may end up just using a comp battery on the skid plates. And speaking of skid plates, you get those too. and then frame braces as well. You do not get much in the way of hardware except for the battery case there. I'm assuming that you're going to reuse most of the hardware from the Capra. I do have a screw set over here, and a ton of screws in a drawer. And the only screw I'm concerned about is the one that holds these two front lower links on. But I'm assuming we could reuse the one that's currently in the Capra. If I run into that problem, I'll update it in the video. But if I don't, just assume that everything kind of swaps over, which I believe it does. But yeah, all right. Next step, I am going to take these links off. I'll take the transmission off, and then I'm going to hook the links up to the new skid plate. All right, so we are at stage 1, is what I would call it. This is the top of your skid plate for your stage dive, and this part right here is the front. So, as you can see, there are some big holes there. Now on this side, there are 2 big holes. So there is a long set screw that you start in here and run it until you see it come out, and take that link, put it over top. Once you do that, put this one right beside it and then run that the rest of the way in. You can actually see the screw down deep in that hole. I just ran it flush with the entrance of the smaller hole inside the big hole. Now, let's see if you could see it in there. I doubt it. But no, I'm sorry, I don't have a light. But this is the front, and this is how it's set up. Okay, as you can see, I swapped out my shocks. So if you're going to swap shocks, this is a good time. These are Dravtex, and yeah, I do have them upside down, but that's the way I'm going to try and run these and see how they do. Now you just do the same thing to the back. They run on 2 different sides. It looks like they're set up to take 2 screws, but on my Capra stock, there's only 1, and I don't know if the thing is that long to run both, but we are about to find out. So hopefully this works out. All right, I'll let you know. So this does take 2 screws, and at least my Capra, which was a kit Capra, it wasn't ready to run, had 1 screw like the front for the back. So you see 2 screws go in here, 1 here and 1 here. And that is the one from the back, which is one big long one. And luckily, I have a bag of these smaller ones laying around, and they will work. Now, what these screws are from is the rear link screws for a Element Senduro. If you buy those kits that run the links into the, I think it's into the skid plate, those will work for this. I don't know if different Capras have different skid plates, but I don't think so. But yeah, you will, as a heads up, need 2 of those smaller screws, because that big long one, I do not believe, yeah, there's no way that's going to go all the way across. So keep that in mind. So after running the 2 screws in the back, here's where we are. The longer bottom links are hooked up to the skid. Now we are going to want to take this chassis, which will go like this. My left hand over here in the frame is the front, and it's going to go like this. So we'll put probably a screw in the back and a screw in the front, and we'll see how those sliders are going to go on, and then we'll take a look at that. All right, tip time. A little trial and error on my part. You could put this back screw in on the frame, and then these holes line up like so, okay? This slider goes this way. This would be the driver's side if you're from the States. Now I have a screw hole in the first hole where my thumb is, and if you put it on like this, with that screw in there, it all lines up, and you can see that there's a nice spot in the skid that will slide right over that screw. Sorry for the blurriness. I'm trying to do two things at once. So that'll slide right over the screw, and then all these holes will line up, and you just line the frame up with the skid, with the slider, and put it together. And I imagine the other side is the same, so I'm gonna put this together. If I run into any other thing, I will let you know. Listen, I get it. The guy stops a lot and records, you know what I'm saying? Oh, look at that dirtiness. I want to stop here and let you know this hole, second one over, you are not going to put a screw in because there's no hole in the frame for it. Just the way it is. So now on the other side there is, where there's no hole in the skid. However it worked out. Lines up like so. You're not going to put a screw in that one. I looked on the other side. It looks like they're all going to go in. And the reason I stopped to tell you this is because it threw me off a bit. And yeah. So it may look easy on YouTube, but I'm just like you. Sometimes I take things apart 50 times and put it back together 58 times. All right, on to the next. All right, both skids on. You see they kind of look angled. I believe it's because it sits like this, and then the skid looks angled, but you see these risen pieces up here? The transmission will sit a little higher in the front, so when you see and look at it like this, the transmission should actually look straight. So far, so good. I'm gonna have to see what the next step is here and figure out where the top links and everything are gonna go. If I'm gonna bolt the transmission next or what, but all these screws went where they were supposed to go. I used all the screws that we took out of the Capra, skid plate and everything. So far, other than those two set screws, I haven't had to use any other types of screws. So far, so good on that. And who knows if I use the right ones in the skid? Who knows? Like, you could even ever know. I don't know. Maybe I should have taken photos. Anyways, I don't even know where to go from here. That's me being honest. Actually, I'm going to try and tackle the transmission here and then the top links and see where they go. And by the time that's all wrapped up, it'll pretty much be hooking up the shocks, and this thing will be just about ready to roll. So let's get on to the next step. As you can see, transmission bolt up is pretty self-explanatory. Why did I use a different bolt over here? That's what I had left. Who the heck knows where I put it? Anyway, for me, this is all mock-up anyways, probably, just to kind of see how everything pieces together. Transmission sits right on top, and look, with it raised up like that, it is flat with the skids, which is pretty cool. I'm gonna pull this motor at some point anyways. I'm gonna be brutally honest with y'all. I have no idea how this dig hooks up. So I do know we have this, which looks like it should fit somehow under the dig servo. And I'm gonna guess we're gonna attach it somewhere over here. Once I figure that out, I will definitely put it in this video so that you're not sitting here wondering how to hook up the dig like I am. But everything's straight, everything's lined up. So far, in all honesty, this has not been bad at all. I've done a couple of other custom chassis builds, and it's been insane because nothing fits together like it's supposed to. But this was made for the Capra, so that's nice. Yeah. So the shocks are there. I'm gonna guess the top maybe go here. I don't know. I'll have to mess with that. But the next step will be, since the transmission's on, I'm gonna get these axles all together and the shocks all on, and get the drive shafts put in, and then I'm gonna go over where exactly, for you all, where exactly these links bolt up at, and how, if you're going to keep dig, how do you mount that servo, which is something else I'm going to figure out for you here. So let me get to tinkering with this, And for you, I'll be back in a moment. For me, I'll probably be back in like 45 minutes. But shocks, you could mount those wherever you want, anywhere in here. Kind of personal preference, how you want your rig to ride. And if you're going to use body mounts or anything like that. But I mean, in all reality, this is not a bad do at all. So let me get this figured out and I'll let you know exactly how to get it done. All right, so the general area for where your upper links are going to go, it's going to be right in there. Okay. I think mine could even go towards the transmission one more notch. So it looks like my axle's decently straight. I thought it was pushed forward a little bit. Probably will change the positioning of my shocks, but if I leave them there, that's going to sit pretty low. I need to see how much travel I'm going to get. I have rigs that flex a lot. I don't care if this one is like super flex Armstrong, but I do want some travel out of it. So basically do the same in the back. The uppers will go on one of those lower holes, probably closer to the rear end. And then your shocks go up in the top there. Don't forget to put your drive shafts together before you get everything all done up, or else it's going to be difficult. You'll have to take it off at the yoke there. Yeah, not sure if I'm going to let it sit like this. The drive shaft is pretty straight. But once you get to this point in the front and the back, you'll definitely know how it's going to be. Throw a set of wheels on there, kind of get the whole flex you want to get, see how low it's going to be. Is it going to be a belly dragger? Is that your goal? And then you can kind of go from there. Not a lot of room on the skids, as you can see, which is probably why I'm going with the Fusion Pro for sure on this. It's going to save a lot of room. I do have small packs that I could even put on the sliders instead of putting in the tray that I ordered. So that is how you're going to, and don't worry, I didn't forget about that dig servo. That's how you're going to slap this baby together. It's been a lot of ums and ahs and oohs, but hopefully this helps you out in getting to at least this stage of the process. Now, give me a few more moments here, and I'm going to figure out how in the heck this dig servo is supposed to be mounted. All right, gang. After much thought, I think I got this thing figured out. So I took the horn off, put it in this contraptment like so. I don't have a freaking stand or whatever. Put it in here like this, okay? I'm gonna take it, just pretend the servo's in here. You all can pretend, can't you? All right, so bolt it back here, like so. And then you're gonna have to, because this thing will move, you're gonna have to flip your servo horn around so that this is facing in. And you'll probably have to have it on the downside, and you'll probably have to recalibrate it, but servo sets is screwed into here. I don't have any little bolts to go on the other side of these for this actual servo itself, because some small screws go in there, at least in the one I have. And it bolts up to the side like that. Servo's in, horns on, bam, you get to keep your dig. Also, do not forget to put your body supports in. If you're gonna do a bumper in the front, that could sit there and be a support. And don't worry, these are probably gonna come in a little bit. As you can see, well, mine's gonna spread out a little bit actually. You could even do a brace in between the shocks, which is probably what I'm gonna do once I figure out where my shocks are gonna land in the front and the back. So you have 4. Make sure you have something on each end, whether it be bumpers or these braces, and then 1 at each tower at least. And if you have more, that's cool, and if not, blah blah blah. But that is how you take your Capra and you convert it over to a Stagedive chassis. Pretty pleased with this actually. As you can see, I didn't finish the back, but I think I'm probably gonna have to move that link from here to here, probably. I don't know, it looks like it's just sitting slightly forward, but I guess I'll see once it's all together. It's nothing to move that. Getting that servo set up shouldn't be too bad. I have to either get some self-tapping screws, which I don't want to do because I know it's going to break that. Probably try and find some of the smaller nuts to put on the screws that came with the servo. So in all reality, you're going to need those two, I call them grub screws, set screws, skid screws, whatever you're going to call them. Those two screws for the lower links. You are going to need the proper screw and nut for the mount there, which it does come with the screws that came off of the servo itself. Just doesn't come with the nuts because it was screwed into these, if you remember correctly. Don't mind my dirty hands. Hands gotta get dirty, fellers and fellerettes. And anything else you needed? I think that was it. Just like a couple nuts, couple screws. But all in all, you should be able to use about everything you pulled off the Capra. And hopefully you have some stuff in your junk drawer. I got some stuff over here. I'll probably even have something in there for that little servo. Yeah, other than that, she's completed. And once I get it totally fully wrapped up and put back together, which in this video will just be moments in time, but for me will probably be like a week, I will let you see what that looks like. And if I ran into any other problems, post any comments down below. What was it helpful? Am I a total moron? Well, I am a total moron, so you don't even have to tell me that. But what did you struggle with? Do you have any tips for anybody else doing this? The more we could help each other, the easier life will be. All right, next time you see this chassis in mere moments, it will be something different. I suck at magic.
Just when you thought it was safe to swim.
Oh, you can't get rid of me that easy. I went back and forth on this servo a few times and figured, I'd save you all a headache and show you how I have it mounted. Having it mounted like this is the way it's going to work on my rig, and how it's going to go is that end is going to go right back in there like it was. Let's see if I can get the camera in there right. And then this, well, you can see those bolt holes. These slots will line right up with it. You'll have that in there. You can tighten them down however you'd like. Shouldn't mess with your link. You could even, if you need to use one of those screw holes that this is going in, you could even share the same screw. But yeah, that's gonna go back in there like so. I don't know if I could do this one-handed. Let's try though. Oh, you son of a... Buttermilk pancakes, baby. There you go. All right, that is not in, but we're going to pretend it's in. It'll sit on there and boom, ba-ba-boom. I am very interested to see when I power up this mini servo where the heck this arm is even at for center, because I know I've changed it around. So definitely take that into consideration. You might even want to power it up before putting it back on the rig, just so you know where the center point is. But yeah, put that servo on. Put your rods on. Get your rod together, kid. Get your shocks together. Get all that together. I want to see it all buttoned up and nice. And yeah, next you're going to see mine all buttoned up and nice. And if it's not nice, I'm just going to hide anything that's not nice. So, all right, gang. This chassis is fully complete. And I'm going to pull that Castle motor out. And I'm going to go with a Fusion Pro just to have a cleaner look, so everything's an all-in-one. I have small comp batteries that I will Velcro to the side over here, put the on-off switch over here. Got an idea to cut down the original Capra cage too, so that'll sit well. I like the way this, I mean, it's got some nice travel. It's not too crazy, which I can adjust that. I like the lower stance. If I want something with super flex, I definitely have a rig that'll do that. But I think this will crawl nicely. I think that's I mean, it's plenty. Get a little weight in that back corner, and that's not going to come up either. So, battery strap, check. Yeah, it's just a little crap servo in there that I'll probably swap out for something a little bit better. Who knows? Who knows? All depending on what I do with this. This could turn into one of those all-foreseen shelf queens, too. I have no oil in the shocks either, which I need to put 10 weight in, probably. Or I think I'm going with 20 or 30 weight, actually, in these. Get a little bit of something. We'll see how it goes, but there it is. And if you want to see the dig servo all mounted up, that's how I did it. And it works that way, and it sits in there nice. I had to mess with it a few times, but I still need to put one more screw in there. And as far as like this being a fully operational rig, I do want to have some screws I'm going to take out and put some better screws in. Like I want to get rid of those silver nuts and go with black ones. Just some small finishing touches. But as far as like being ready to run, throw some wheels and tires on this thing, which I actually have a nice set of wheels. I'm waiting on some anti-foams to do the tires up, and I am cutting up the cage actually to fit nice and low on this body. We'll see how it turns out. I might make another video about that. All right, hey, thanks for watching. If this helped you in any way, great. And if it didn't, well, you know, you wasted some time, which is what the internet is for. Hit the like and subscribe button and all that fun jazz. Peace.